Evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting show on the African Duchess show. I'm your host, Rumbi Zopa from Zimbabwe in Southern Africa. I hope you all had a lovely day. Those that are waking up, please enjoy this day. Have a lovely day. Today, we're going to be discussing on being a kid now. When I say being a kid now, we're talking about being a kid in the 21st century. Being a kid nowadays, things have changed. Things because of the technology, because of modernization, because of so many things. Being a kid now is so different from the kids that were raised in the 90s, in the 80s, 70s, 60s. It's just different, right? So, because of the issue of technology, it seems like kids or teens, they are now facing issues that are quite difficult than that were before us. And some of the issues, they're not quite exactly new, but just that electronic media, like the issue I was saying with technology, there's changed, and now there's amplified some of the struggles we face as kids. So before we get down into some of the challenges or the difficulties that are now happening when you're a kid, or because this is quite important, so that we look out for our children. I'm going to be a mother one day. I'm talking to fathers, I'm talking to parents, I'm talking to brothers, I'm talking to sisters, I'm talking to everyone who has access to kids, who has access to teenagers, and you have to know what's really going on, because now we are in the 21st century and things have changed. So let me just take you back down memory lane to some of the perks of being a kid. It may be how you were raised, how I was raised, but well, back in the day, things were quite easy. Being a kid was one of the most memorable and enjoyable phases in our lifetime. When it comes to the clothing was just optional. You know, when you're a kid, you can get to run around the house in your underwear all day. But well, now we are adults. If you do that, hey, a lawsuit will be coming for you, right? Or either people will think that you're going crazy, stuff like that. And when we were kids, you would get to nap every time you want, you would get to sleep every time you want. Actually, sleeping was quite recommended. It's still recommended. They say when you sleep, you grow when you're a kid, because you need to rest, you need your time. So back in the day when we were kids, napping was actually mandatory, and there wasn't so much of a schedule like now. Now we have to put our kids on schedules, on meal plans, etc, etc. And also, back in the day when we were kids, what mattered the most, the only job we had to do was getting good grades. That entailed going to school and getting good grades, and would get rewarded either for improving from being number 20 to being number 15, or from number 15 to being number 2. You would get rewarded for that. And also, back in the day when we were kids, making friends was quite easy, right? you would just approach someone, hey, can you play the ball together? Can you pass me this? Can you pass me that? So basically, when you were a kid, or when we're kids, or now, even now, to the kids nowadays, um, like I'm saying, things have changed. Being a kid in the 21st century is just something else. And I don't know if everyone who was part of this has had a very enjoyable childhood, teenage life, and all. And also, I understand, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day as well, you would just, it would be acceptable to cry for no reason. But well, we're now adults. You can't be crying because you've rent to pay, you've bills to meet, you need to buy this and that. There's no need to be crying anymore. So, yeah, things have changed. So, these were some of the perks of being a kid. If I'm sure you've done this, or you've come across someone who, or a kid who's running around in their undies, and you'll be like, wow, this is so cute. Wow, this is amazing. This is adorable. But well, we're in the 21st century right now. So in the 21st century, kids are growing super fast. As adults, we have to catch up. We have to catch up with our sisters. We have to catch up with the little brothers. We have to catch up with our kids because they are growing up just too fast than usual. Now in the 21st century, sorry, I hope you can all hear me. Now in the now in the 21st century, kids are growing up so fast. There was a time when kids enjoyed being kids, but now they can't wait to be adults. They don't want to be kids. Kids don't want to be kids. But well, you we need to live through time. When it's time to be a kid, be a kid. When it's time to be an adult, be an adult. You can't be an adult and you act like a kid, and you can't be a kid and act like an adult. It just doesn't work. But well, it's the 21st century. Kids are growing up too fast. If you don't catch up, you will definitely miss them. Because with the issue of technology, there's social media, there's so much going on. There's so much going on. So I was saying there was a time when kids enjoyed being kids, but then today, at the early of ages, like what, the 10 or 11, children are now partaking in adult activities with serious consequences, right? For example, when it comes to kids, mostly spend their time on TV, right? So they're exposed to things like they see alcohol and drugs, and also sex is quietly being popular these days on TV. And maybe you're cooking, maybe you're doing what, you no longer look up if your child is watching the right age restrictions, or if your house you're preserving the right age restrictions, because most of these adult movies, some of them will be like 18 plus, or some they'll have the SLNV for sex, language, nudity, and whatnot. But well, the kids nowadays, as soon as they see 18 plus, they just can't wait to get binged on the movie. So they're growing up so fast. We're talking about the movies, we're talking about TV, the internet, especially right now, almost every kid, there is never a time where right now you can watch and finish a movie without people kissing, people touching. And also, we're growing up so fast as well, not just because of the TV, what they watch. Right, yeah, what they watch is really important because people, we tend to have a very strong photographic memory. What you see, you will remember. So yeah, it is really affecting the kids of nowadays, and really to catch up and also regulate on what they watch etc., etc. And then also the music, they're going up so fast. We are talking about music and how it's now being a culprit in influencing our child's growth, our teenagers' lives. Music has really affected them so much. We have music coming from Cardi B, like the WAP, right? So you can imagine the content that is being released out there, um, all over the world. The content really, you see a 10-year-old singing the WAP song by Cardi B, and you ask yourself, really, what's going on these days? What's going on? But well, that's is what's going on. It's becoming their new norm, but we should not allow this to be the new norm, because at the end of the day, we want to have a better future, a better kids, better leaders for this world, right? And also, when it comes to the content, it's always how low can you go? We have lyrics like "Baby, let me sex you up." The content is just so deep, right? Um, and also what you take in through your ears, what you see, it really affects you. It's really affecting our kids, and that is why we're seeing that kids from 10 to 11 already they're now engaging in sex, in vulgar. It's becoming so normal. We've seemed to lost our touch, we've seemed to lost our roots, our culture, where we're coming from, because um this is not just touching Africa only, this is touching the world at large. Kids are now just doing whatever. And also, because of the social media as well, parents and guardians, they're no longer concentrating and giving time. So, like I'm saying, if you don't catch up, you will miss out on a lot on your kids, and before you know it, you will become the stupid in the home. You will become the fool, and then they'll be thinking they're so clever, they're so advanced, they just can't wait to do the activities that are done by adults. They just can't wait to be adults. What happened to being to enjoying being kids? Things have changed. This is the 21st century. So if you don't monitor what your children is doing, if you don't monitor what your little brother or your little sister is up to, believe me, they're already gone. But well, they can't be gone, because look at me now. I'm 23 and I'm still getting knowledge that I'm taking in. I'm still getting um rebuke and still accepting it. So yeah, rebuke your kids, treat them in the right way, talk to them in the right manner. They'll understand and they'll come around. And the concept generally of being a kid, I think, is being wiped out so much. We have African kids, we have black kids, we have young teenagers, and the issue of this Western culture, it has really affected their minds. It has really affected how they want to fit in so much in the society. So yeah, being a kid in the 21st century is just something else. Let me just go through the comments and see if people are understanding what I'm saying. Yeah. Hello, G-Man. Hello, Bombe Dafa. Hello, kids. Discussion with Dana. Hello. You have to monitor your children constantly today. I agree. And then from kids as well, men on men touching and women on women touching. That is so very true. You're watching your series, and then um, before you get to season 2 or to episode 2, before you get to the next, I don't know, already there's now homosexualism being introduced. So this is a 10-year-old who's watching this. And like I was saying, kids have everyone actually, we have a photographic memory. We never forget. So imagine you're watching men on men touching, woman on woman touching at such a young age. Before you know it, you think it's quite normal. Everyone is doing it. Then why not? And you don't want to be left out on the trend. You don't want to be left out. But well, it's not trend. It's not what. It's just this the lack of supervision, the so much dilution going on. So it's now really important for us to be looking out for our kids, looking out because you don't know just how deep they are into, right? Yeah. Okay, so Keith is just saying, God damn, both these black women are lesbians. I thought they were men. Shit. I say, what's up, brother? Then I just realized they were women. Wow. Wow. That is something else. Okay. And we're talking about TV, the influence. You see, that is where all this is coming from. What they are spending most of their time doing, the TV, the social media, and well, it's diluting them so much. Okay, moving on to the next issue on what is happening in the 21st. Well, believe me, the kids of nowadays have become very much materialistic. We now live in a society where materialism is being promoted, and we perpetuate this particular melody by instilling bad habits into our little sisters, into our young brothers. And for some reason, we are now teaching or implying to them that success is measured, success and happiness in life is measured by how much stuff you have. Generally, when you're a kid, you want things, you want ice cream, you want your lollipops, you want so much, right? Um, and also it's derived because your friend is something that you like and whatnot. But well, unfortunately, yeah, but like in the 21st century, there seems to be a little restraint on accompanying guidance as we go about this, right? We always grew up being told that you earn respect. The same way you earn respect is the same way you should earn your things. You um we provide kids with things that are within our financial capacity. But as well, kids nowadays, they no longer appreciate the fact that you have to be content. But where you come from, you have to be content with what your parents can afford. You have to be content with how you are being brewed up in your various societies, right? And the concept of earning what you get, or the idea that something that you don't need, it seems to have been lost and discarded. This is something that should be instilled in our kids at a very young age. But well, we're now in the 21st century. If your child is not driving to school, they feel like um, maybe they don't deserve it. But well, we come from different backgrounds, we come from different families, and this issue of materialism is affecting our kids so much. It has brought about theft. People are now kids, right? Theft has always been there, but well, because of the issue of materialism, kids are stealing from one another just because they feel like what the other person has, it belongs to them. But no, you don't just you're not just given something, you don't just get something, you just wake up being rich, right? And also it goes back to the social media. The life on the social media, I always tell people this, it's fake. No one will post themselves sleeping on the floor on social media. No. What we see on social media is just a facade, it's something that ain't real, right? But well, we're the 21st century, our kids are always on the social media. And if the next child in their class gets a converse, well, they feel like they've made it in life, or it's now a measure of success. Um, just because you have so much, you have this, you have that. But well, we need to instill a sense of hard work, a sense of meaning in our kids, a sense of earning. You need to earn something. You don't just when you're a kid, yes, you certain things are given to you, but well, some things you need to earn them, right? Let's say you've made it as number one in your class. Well, you've done something good. There ain't no reason for your parents to withhold that converse from you. But at the same time, them not giving or them not being able to buy that converse for you doesn't mean they love you any less. No, doesn't mean that. And also, you don't need to pause so that your parents buy you something. You need to pause because you are making a way for your future. You are building yourself, right? This has to be instilled in our kids at a very young age, because in this 21st century everything has just become so materialistic. There ain't no sentiment of value anymore. It's just materialistic and materialistic things. So yeah, that is something as well that is happening now in the 21st century. In the 21st century. All right, let me just go through the comments again. Ha ha ha, it's scary now. You can't tell anymore. That is very true. You can't tell who is who, if this is a girl, if this is a boy or not. Western culture, materialism. I was show This is from G-Man. I was showing Nisha around town on Alki Beach, and a lesbian on a roller skate almost fell. Another kept her from falling by grabbing her ass. Wow. All right, that's bad. I took my babies bowling, and two black ladies were tongue kissing. I rushed them out. I was straight disrespectful and disgusted. Yeah, it's happening in our society, and gradually, slowly, it's really sticking. It's really sticking in those young kids. You are right. Most social media people are quite phony. That is very true. Dana, that's crazy, but you're close to Atlanta. Yes, it's probably atrocious. The next generation will not even understand that it is not normal. Yes, it is not normal. It is not normal. But well, you are quiet, people. You are quiet. You are not continuously spreading this awareness that this ain't normal, especially from the Africans, from the Black Africans. Um, to everyone who's black, this ain't normal. This issue of you just seeing women to women, men to men. No, I didn't write. And we still need to continue to raise awareness on this and speak out on such matters. Because the more we keep quiet, the more it's spreading, the more it's killing us as a continent, the more it's killing us as 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 individuals and throughout the world. And also, what I was saying about the issue of being materialistic right now, it's so unfortunate because there are really devastating consequences for such continued behavior later in life. You'll find that even when, if this is not really dealt with at a younger age, it will really catch up even in the future. You'll become very materialistic. Don't think that these young girls who are sleeping with rich men for survival, for security, whatnot, it didn't just start there. It's something as well that you know what, they are now, because of this materialism that is going on, they started it at a younger age, right? um and now they've grown up, and still, just because it's a root that wasn't broken, right? At a very young age. Even now, we find 20-year-olds um, uh, engaging in activities um, with very, very, very much older men, be it those like the tourists, people who be visiting various places, and they're very much great consequences at times. We're talking about these people who knowingly infect you, but well, because girl, you decide to be materialistic, it will definitely catch up. It will definitely catch up. So yeah, this issue of materialism has now grown so much in our kids, and it's something that we should deal with at home. Charity begins at home. So if they miss these certain baby steps, if they miss these certain principles at home, or while they're even at school, it's something that will always continuously catch up with them in the future. And also, we talk about the violence in schools right now. You know, when I was growing up, I never encountered such like the violence, the bullying that is now commonly these days. And we're talking about the child's foundation, and the child's foundation is from which he or she will be able to go forth, be it into the world or to the next level in life. And schools, we are saying they play a major role in this, right? And therefore, it is reasonable to expect the places such as schools as places of learning. They should be safe havens for the children. But no, nowadays, someone or your sister, your little brother, your child is afraid to go to school the next day because it's no longer safe. There's so much violence going on in schools. There's so much racism going on in schools. I remember at one time when lockdown really started in Southern Africa, there was a school, I think it was a Catholic school, yeah, in South Africa. I don't remember if it was a Catholic school or not, but I'm sure it was Catholic. In South Africa, that was being investigated by the state for racism, right? The moment racism starts, it causes so many divisions, it causes so many unrest in the environment. And I was shocked. Well, you know what? The people were still doing this in the neighboring country, but well, it's happening. And we're saying that schools should be safe havens for our kids. And this is a girls' school, mind you. This was a girls' school, and South Africa legalized homosexualism. Well, they did, and this is a girls' school. So imagine your child is being exposed to lesbianism every day. Guns are blazing day in, day out. And then we're also talking about the issue of racism. We're talking about bullying. So much is going on now. So much is going on. And the moment you do not have a personal relationship with your sister, with your child, you might not even tell when they are not well. You should check them even when they are bathing at times. You can just mistakenly walk into the bathroom. You'll be surprised. You can even find bruises. Because I don't know, for some reason, single sex schools, there's so much bullying going on. There's so much bullying going on. There's so much gangs that are being formed. It's just crazy being a child or being a kid in this 21st century. And we're saying that schools should be safe places, schools should be safe havens, but unfortunately, it's no longer the case anymore. And in many instances, we have low income urban settings or schools that are in the high density areas. And these are definitely like a war zone. And like I'm saying, things are now different. Things, and they aren't different as such, but some of the things, they've been amplified or like a bit of exaggeration. And it's now being difficult being a kid in the 21st century. It's now being difficult being a kid now. And when I was talking about the issue of bullying, we're not talking about minor bullying, but we're talking about serious violence. Um, I went through some stats that were saying that about 284 kids that were lost from the period. It was a period of 2 years. Those statistics were a period of 2 years, and 284 kids were murdered due to school violence. Imagine, how does a kid go to school with a gun? How does that even work? How did your kid manage to open that safe with your gun, to go with it at school, and you didn't even notice that your kid left with the gun? And anyway, why are we having such weapons in a place that is um, very much accessible to anyone? Why put yourself in that position whereby anyone can access your personal stuff like that? Even so, I'm afraid of guns. I would never own one. Honestly, I would never own one. And thankfully for my country, it's very difficult to own one. If the moment you see a gun in someone's house, then best believe it, they're a war veteran, or they're in the crime and intelligence. And even up until now, I'm 23, I've never seen a gun, not in anyone's car. Guns, I've just seen them on TV. So safe for me. But while we're talking about kids who are exposed to gun violence on a daily basis, right? Schools right now, they are no longer a safe haven. They are now a war zone. So that is what is going on now. That is being a child in the 21st century. Kids are now exposed to shootings. They're now exposed to stabbings. They're now exposed to fighting. Suicides, they are happening almost every month, you know. I think nowadays growing up is now a bit tough because when we were growing up, we didn't have to worry about things like that, like the guns and whatnot. But now there's so much going on, and that is now what is happening to our little sisters, little brothers in the 21st. That is now being a kid in the 21st. And these are some of the things we should be looking out for. These are some of the things we should be open to discuss with our peers, with our kids, with our brothers, with our sisters, because the moment you don't know what's going on in their life, you've lost them. You've lost them. And we really need to be involved. We really need to know what's going on. You really need to tell, you know what, when my sister gives me this face, when my little brother gives me this face, when my child gives me this face, definitely they are lying. Definitely something is wrong. But well, because we've lost that connection, we've lost that touch. Kids right now, especially of those in this century, they're getting away with almost anything without you even noticing. They're getting away with almost anything. So yeah, let's be there for our kids. Let's be there for our sisters. Let's be there for our brothers. Let's be there for each other. We need one another. We need one another as a continent. We need one each other, one another. As blacks, we need one another, right? So yeah, let me just go through the comment section. All right, so yeah, this is from G-Man. They're also putting hormones in the food that is feminizing men and making women masculine. Yeah, I was about to move to that point on the issue also the food that is now being accessed by some of by the kids in the 21st. Food right now is now being over processed. um it has lost its originality, it has lost its the no the usual nutrients that are supposed on the proportions as well. Almost everything is now amplified. It goes back to the issue of modernization, the issue of technological advancement in the now communities, and you now tend to see that the hormones, it's like they're now being actually induced in a certain manner, and there's no longer like a balance because back in the day there wasn't so much homosexualism as to now. It feels like there's something that is fueling it, like what's the right word like what's this, it's like an enzyme that is fueling all this. ah what is, it's like an enzyme right now. It's like 1 in every 5 people is homo or is bi. It's just a scary world, and that's now the being a kid in the 21st century. Exactly, Diana. That is why they want it. Also, it kills us off as people. Remember us as ordinary people. We knew this behavior was unacceptable. This is a global agenda. The hybrids particularly want to break Africa. The continent needs to be highly on guard, importing food from the West. That's true. That's true. Every place you have Europeans, people, you're going to have racism. Your people who have racism. African nationals needs to be higher late for the Western media corporations, particularly CNN. Yeah, they're bullying you for your battle. Now shit is crazy. I agree with Keith Newsom. Everywhere they go, death and destruction follows. Exactly. Um. Exactly. Dana and African people worldwide don't seem to understand this. Peace at B1. Hi, Kay Williams. Thank you for tuning in. That is the nature of destruction. Who are the gun manufacturers? The US and other notorious for making guns available to black youth. I know, right? Who are manufacturing these guns and licensing them to just to everyone like that? It's not safe. Not right. Um, Peace and bro, you need to know if there's a bad bandit there. You have to be aware and explain the motive to why these weapons, drugs, etc. are so easily available. We have to unite to stop this evil. Yes, so you can not own guns over there, Duchess. I think you may have right. You may be right enzymes. Yes, they are human. It's all in the food. Yeah. So that is now being a kid in this 21st century and the things you are exposed to. It's just hard. I can imagine what our little sisters, our young little brothers, and young boys are managing and coping. We didn't have so much. I don't remember ever seeing a woman kissing a girl kissing another girl or a boy. I never in my life did I see this. From my high school to my primary, I only started noticing these things on TV. On TV. Right. And also back to what the kids nowadays are facing who talk on social media. I was mentioning social media in bits and pieces, but well, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter. And we are saying in the 21st century, these are the common ways for teens to connect with one another. But well, social media, it can be quite problematic for several reasons. For instance, social media, it really can expose your child to cyberbullying. I'll just use this word because it better explains, to slut shaming and so much more. And it also exposes them to predators. There's sex predators out there. Not just sex predators, but they're just predators out there looking for someone, looking for something to chow on, to devour on, to belittle, to take advantage of. So social media, it can really have a negative impact, be it on the friendship of our kids, them peer to peer, and also it's now changing the way teens date. When you're watching a movie, we're talking about social media, when you're watching a movie, when talking about Instagram, we're doing that. Um, it seems like people who've made it in Hollywood, they're sending this certain vibe, this certain acceptance of things, and it has trickling down effects on people from Africa, people, the young adults. Um, I don't mean to hate on anyone, but well, we're talking about the Smith family, you know, they are quite young, and some of the things they do, we have sisters, we have brothers. So imagine, um, we have people like those, the young, the youngsters who are making it in the showbiz, and these are the people whom our kids, whom our sisters are emulating or wanna be. So yeah, you can imagine. I'll just use the Smith children as an example. Imagine your child is emulating them day in day out. They're always on their posts day in day out. They're doing watching what they're doing day in day out. Those are like their icons. Those are like their super young star celebrities. But well, this is social media, right? And it's not. And I was saying social media, it's phony, it's fake, it's whatnot and whatnot. But well, not everyone knows this. Not everyone knows this. Did you know that there are people actually who are paid out there to be homos or to be bi, but in actual sense they aren't? And yet we are busy emulating their fake lives. We are busy emulating their life on the screens. We need to wake up. You have a life of your own. You have your life to live. If it was possible, you know what? This TV business, these applications that are being created day in, day out, if they weren't there, I don't think there would be so much like this going on. That's my way of thinking. But well, that's just how it is. I can't control everything. We can't control everything in the universe, but at least we can try and reduce some of the consequences. We can try and reduce some of the negative of the impact or the influences. We can try and reduce this and keep it minimal at a manageable level. Because I'm talking about the Smith, the Willow, and the brother, and I don't think they're good examples or setting the right tone. This is my own opinion. If you don't agree with me, then well, I don't know. That's not my problem. But well, these aren't good examples for the kids. They aren't. They aren't. They aren't. And social media, it can really affect your child's mental health because um, they are now putting like a benchmark. They are now comparing themselves to the next person or to whatnot, and they will cause unnecessary pressures in their life, right? And it will really affect them, how they're thinking. It will really affect their minds. And I know at one time my mom didn't have like a smartphone. She felt like it wasn't important. I know so many parents from the 60s, from the 50s, going forward and backwards. They feel like, you know what, it's no need for me to be on social media. But well, guys, I ended up telling my mom that, you know what, you need to be updated on some of these things, because if you're not updated, you cannot navigate around. You cannot control what these grandkids of yours will be doing. You can't control what, I have a young sister. You can't control what she'll be doing. You won't even know. I'm not saying go on your child's phone like day in, day out, but well, you need to know what's going on. You need to know how to operate these things. You need to know how to operate Facebook, how to operate Instagram, how to operate Twitter, because you you need to know how to prevent certain things, and you also need to talk about ways to to stay safe online. And most importantly, you need to know what your child is doing online, as well as being updated. You need also to stay educated yourself on the latest apps. As we know, the common Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, Twitter, but well, there are other apps that are being developed every day that we don't even know about. But well, our sisters are they're quite, they do have time for things like that, and they are participating in God knows what. You don't even know, and you can't even start to imagine the things that they're being exposed to. So you're talking about social media and the kids nowadays, just how much they're being affected by the social media and being a kid in the 21st century. All right, so let me just go through the comments. Okay, and then that's from Keith. Nelson Mandela brought the homosexual agenda to South Africa, and Barack Obama's gay is. Then we have, it's pure sick what's going on. Two women licking on one another and men licking one another. And then Duchess is not, it's not hate, but you have to understand and call out this wicked agenda. The truth is never hate. Well, because Will Smith is a flaming homosexual, that is why he allowed his wife to sleep with his son's friend, Jada Pinkett Smith, that has been keeping his secret like Winnie. And then on top of the line, those devils are a cancer to the earth. I'm trying to think of a strategy, maybe train the kids to focus on the possibility of protection from Zungus instead of each other. Duchess, we do agree with you. That's why they promoted to the youth to accept this behavior. The men should be involved with training them to use the weapons properly to protect their women and children. If weapons are flowing in, try to channel the usage in a positive direction for the people. No room, you have to teach children at a young age, show them homosexual behavior, and you have to be knowledgeable to explain the agenda to them, but you have to be honest with them. That is very true. There was one time I was talking about the importance of sex education to our kids. It also goes back to so dynamic. We also have to talk about the issue of homosexualism and where it's coming from, and what is its end goal, what they want to achieve. Issues like that, we really need to talk about them and raise awareness in our respective society, communities, families, um, and in our continent as well. We really need to iron this out, because true Africans know that this is never and will never be a part of us. No matter it has been um, put upon us by the world's richest or by the worlds, I don't know. This is not part of the African culture. It's as simple as that. I don't hate on nobody. Well, those are just my beliefs. And me being African, me being black, I'm standing in for so many of you, so many of us. And this is something that we really need to continuously raise awareness on in the black African society, right? And then also, we'll talk about um, drug abuse, we'll talk about alcohol. All right, so let's just go into a quick break for like 3 minutes. I'll be back with you people. Just need to put my laptop on the charger. My apologies for this. Just need to put my laptop on the charger. Okay, so I'm back. All right. I'm back. Let me just go through the let me just go to the comments. Duchess, it isn't hate. They're coming from Africa, Duchess. They already go to Africa. It's the gateway. It's the gateway, Duchess. It isn't hate. Haha, women don't like the thought of their boys having to be warriors in combat, but it's a part of our calling, Duchess. As men, hello. I'm not in Pensacola, Florida right now. I'll be back tomorrow morning and see if I still have a house. Oh yeah. Apologies. And our sincerest comforts goes out to everyone who was affected by the hurricane. Um, but I've been getting calls all day telling me, uh, we just hope you have some way to sleep, and we just hope your house is still intact, Keith. They spread their wickedness all over the world, and yeah, we do hope things do work out for you, Keith, tomorrow when you go back home. All right, and then back again. with the story of today, being a kid in the 21st century, being a kid in the 21st century, being a kid now. All right. So this is the African Duchess show with your host Rumbi Zopa from Zimbabwe in Southern Africa. Back to the next point, I was talking about previously. I was talking about the social media and how it's affecting the kids nowadays. We're talking about the violence in schools. We're talking about so much. And one other thing that will not I will not be able to close down today's show without mentioning is the issue of drug abuse. The issue of drug abuse is really affecting our kids in a very big, tremendous way. Um, Back to the issue of social media, back to the issue of television industry, back, back. You know, um, in cinema history, especially when you're watching the action movies, whatnot, but the Arnold Schwarzeneggers, there's so many action movies that are out there, right? You see an actor, you will see an actress with a cigarette in their hand. And I'm stressing on the issue of photographic memory. Kids remember, I remember what I've seen. Even now as an adult, I remember what. And in those movies, smoking is implied as something that is really cool. This is an 8-year-old watching a movie. This is an 8-year-old watching um, what's the right word they would use? Yes, their badass hero, their badass main actor who has a cigar in their hand, and it will imply this cool, this feel. But well, this is a kid, right? Tomorrow they'll go to school. Tomorrow they will pass through maybe a shop and then they will find that cigar. Definitely they will buy it because their favorite actor was smoking on it. Their favorite actor was high on cocaine, on whatnot. And as a result, they will start doing it as well. Just like even as adults now, we are still being affected by the television industry and we are now doing it. So imagine if I can do something that I've seen on the TV. Imagine someone who's not even mature enough to know what's wrong and what's right. So yeah, and I feel there's need to have an awareness as to the dangers of some of these things, right? We know smoking is there, but what the television doesn't do, it will not tell you of the health hazards of smoking, especially when you're 10 years old, especially when you're 8 years old. The TV, television, the social media, it will never address the perks or the consequences of smoking or of being high or of being always on drugs. It will never do that. It's just like social media. It will show you the good stuff, but it will not dig deep, you know. No one is out there dirty laundry on Instagram or on Facebook, unless of course there was a bit of gossip involved or there was a snitch involved, blah blah blah. So yeah, they're now being exposed to drug abuse and alcohol at a very very young age. I'm sure right now a 24-year-old or a 20-year-old, they're in a position to say, you know what, I can control my liquor, I can do this, I can do what. But Paul, we're talking about kids. Every kid that I'm referring to today is especially those that are below the age of 16. And as much as they think they are so mature, and as much as they think they are now adults, there's some things that they just can't control. Even if they want to control it, their metabolism as well, their borders, they need to adjust to these things. They need to adjust to certain things. They need to adjust. But well, this is what they're being exposed to every day on the TV. And also, the kids of the 21st century. What happens Guys, you don't just buy medication over the counter just like that. Growing up, I knew even if I needed the simplest painkiller like paracetamol, or you don't just buy it over the counter like nowadays. People are now buying certain medicines with so much milligrams, or so much, what's the right word, right, so much effect on someone's health over the counter. Who's controlling these drugstores? What is going on? Because between these drugstores, these pharmacies, they are licensed, right? So how are people getting away with selling heavy prescriptions over the counter without a prescription? Even that, with prescription, we now have addicts. There are people, I didn't know this. I recently just discovered there are people who are addicted to painkillers. I'm not yet to understand drug addicts, but wow, I think maybe if you're addicted to painkillers for 30 years, I would give you like a free pass, because at 30 years you're old enough to know what you want with your life. But wow, someone who's 12 years and already they are addicted to painkillers. I can wonder how much pain someone at 10 years would have experienced as that they have become addicted to painkillers or their headache. I don't know. But well, um, they're now addicted. Kids nowadays at a young age, they're so addicted to painkillers. They're so addicted. They're now buying medication over the counter and they're getting away with it. And we're saying we have the law, we have whatnot, but well, people are no longer respecting the law. Everyone is just looking out to make money. They don't care who gets hurt. They don't care who gets affected. It ain't right. It ain't right, guys. It ain't right. So please do monitor your kids. You will notice a change in behavior when someone starts using drugs. Either their appetite will start to gradually go up, or it will actually die down. So many things, so many traits to see when your child is now um, a drug addict or is now exposed to drugs. And also, many of those kids, they don't recognize the dangers of taking as well someone's prescription, or popping a pill that is not as prescribed to them. Guys, please don't do this. Don't just take medication that doesn't belong to you. And even also, this is something very silly, but as well, don't share spectacles like the glasses, the eyeglasses. Don't share spectacles, because every spectacles you see, right, they are designed for that person, for their eyes, for their lens. Maybe they're short-sighted. They are don't just take things just because you want to try on something new. You will hurt yourself over something that is really silly. So yeah, it's unfortunate that the kids nowadays, they underestimate how easy it is to develop an addiction, and they don't seem to understand the risks that are associated with overdosing. And they also don't know the lengths this could really result in deaths. Like deaths, you could die from an addiction, you could die from overdosing. In January, I was in South Africa. I think it was last year when it was legalized. Ah, I don't know if is it cocaine? There was a drug that was legalized in South Africa. These drugs people get high on. I was in the streets of Johannesburg, like in the main, in the heat of the things in town. This was a year later, because I usually go to South Africa maybe once in a year. I'll tell you this. They were young kids, so young, and you would see them lying around in the streets. I've never seen that. I was shocked. So I thought maybe these are just mere street kids. They are lying around maybe because they don't have accommodation. Because we have kids like those who are always on the streets and whatnot. But those weren't just street kids. Those were high. They were high. All of them, they were knocked out. Like you're walking in town and you have um, to meander your way through people who are lying on the floor just because they are high on that drug. So you can imagine so many youths who would be lying. At one time, I asked my brother, I said, you know what, these people, like the way they would be knocked out, I was asking him, are these people dead? And he was like, no, they aren't dead, my sister. They are hooked up on something. So the people that were lying in the streets, for the whole day, the people that I saw, they could reach up to 50. And we're talking about the main city. What more other areas? You know? What more other areas? And how many other kids are going to school have access to this drug, have access to this? Because the moment the government decided to legalize that drug, they had their reasons, but wow, this is the 21st century. In as much as maybe it was for medicinal, but wow, you see dead youths in the streets, high on that drug, every day, 24/7. So yeah, so some of the things that are affecting us in the 21st century, and it really is a tough world out there, especially for the kids nowadays. The things they're exposed to is just so much. It's just so much. And we really need to have like strong regulatory borders when it comes to the issue of certain the release and the legalization and licensing of certain drugs on the streets, because in as much as we are maybe doing it maybe for investors or whatnot, in the long run these do have long, dangerous, harmful consequences that really may affect the future that we want to save, the future we want to have for tomorrow. All right, so let me just go through the comments. I'm going to need socks and underwear, man. All right, this is the second time you say this. You said this again on Africa's Today's show. I'm starting to think you really are serious, kid. Mayor from K. Williams, you hear about the Hell Angels being there doing sex trafficking in Africa. Duchess, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I heard of this, but I heard actually there was a video that was circulating around. I'll look for that video of two white people, a male and a female, were walking around naked in the streets of South Africa, in the main city in Johannesburg, claiming to be, what were they claiming to be? Like, the Adam and Eve type of vibe, in the Garden of Eden, because before the sin, you guys, you'll be naked and whatnot. I think those people, they were like, Jesus is now coming and whatnot. And people were recording them and they were walking butt naked in their baby suits in broad daylight. So, yeah, it's a lot going out here. There's a lot going out here. And you can imagine. They're made from opioid judges. They're highly addictive, more than heroin. Oh, all right. What the hell are angels doing in what African countries stop this BS? The racing motorcycle gang over there. Yes, kids, they got busted. Oh, all right. I'll look up that story If a thug is coming over there now, I know who they are. Stop these BS. They were created in my home state of California. I was telling the Duchess that keep. I know, you know. All right. So you were saying hell angels being there, sex trafficking in Africa. Yeah, it's a crazy out here. It's a crazy world out here. So yeah, I hope you all had a nice time in this discussion. I'm sorry I didn't bring a guest in today. Um, I had they had to cancel last minute. So yeah, my apologies for starting the show late. To my lovely viewers, to my lovely melanated families, I had to improvise because you just have to improvise because you gotta get the job done. So yeah, I had to improvise today's discussion as I was doing it solo. Thank you for the contributions. You guys, you always make my life easier because you are quite participative, and also you bring in so much knowledge to the table. I appreciate being part of this movement. I appreciate being part of the Black Wildfire Network. This is from the Duchess. I hope you all have a good night. You will all have a good day. And our prayers and thoughts are with those that were hit by the hurricane in the United States of America. We hope you are well. We hope everything will work out for the best. We hope also that Keith will find his house intact tomorrow. I can imagine. I can imagine. So yeah, thank you to everyone who tuned in on the show. Then Mr. Pipe Brain, you just joined us, and I'm about to close down the show. Hello to you. All right. So yeah, good night, everyone. Much love from the Duchess. We'll meet again tomorrow, same time, same place. Good night.